Now, the woman formerly known as Maria is a hungry young news reporter looking for a big break in New York. She is Connie Fisher, who's now starring in the Leonard Bernstein musical Wonderful Town at the Lowry in Salford. This is her first stage role since she was told she would never sing again after finding out she had congenital fusion anomalies on her vocal cords. Good morning to you, Connie. How are you?
Good morning. I'm very well, thank you.
Now, tell me, that must have been a horrendous experience, because you were effectively told at one point that you'd never sing again.
I went to Boston to see the leading man in the world, Steve Zeitels, who happens to be Julie Andrews' vocal surgeon as well, and Adele's. And I was told from Harley Street that there was nothing wrong, really. They couldn't see anything on the camera. And I had an investigative operation in Boston, and they said you have basically holes in each cord that you were born with, which was quite news to me, being a singer and having been cast on television and given this golden ticket to play Maria. And all of a sudden this creak kind of developed in my voice, and I was all at sea for a time, and I was told I would never sing again. But he said, unless I can do something, you'll never sing again. So he fixed one of my cords, and he was able to roll that out so it looks like a normal vocal cord. But the other side he was unable to fix. So there is still that kind of irregularity there in my voice. But then I was given the option of, do you want to continue, or do you want to learn to sing again? So I went through 3 months of vocal rehabilitation out in Boston, getting over the operations. And
was that literally like learning to sing all over again?
Yes, because I was classically trained as a soprano, and I went to drama school, I went to Mount View, and had that forward classical training as a soprano. And so I was singing Bernstein, but in a very different way. And now I'm singing a different sort of Bernstein, a jazzy Bernstein, which has given me a great opportunity to readdress the voice I've got now. And it was a real identity crisis, because when you lose it's like losing a part of you. I could no longer get out of bed and sing these top C's. But I had to learn to vocalise again, because I'd wake up every morning sounding like Marge Simpson. So I just wake up and I would try and do gentle vocal exercises. I sounded like a Teletubby, like eh-oh. And it just gently built up the stamina and the muscle, because after all, the voice is a muscle. And it was just learning to sing again in a very different way. And I now use the Estill method, which works much better for me as a singer.
We just need to hear you, I think, exercising your new vocal muscle.
Oh gosh.
Here you are.
Have you got a clip?
We have. Oh, we have. Don't worry, not now. We've got a clip.
We dig the rhythm, swing, dig the message. The jive's jumping and the music goes round and around. Whoa, it goes round and around. Cats, make it solid. Cats, make it groovy. You gotta get your seafood drama. Your favorite dish is fish. It's your favorite dish. Don't be square. Rock right out of that rocking chair. To rock on down and let down your hair. Breathe that barrel house air. The village vortex.
That's the new Connie Fisher from the Leonard Bernstein musical Wonderful Town. Very, very different voice. I can tell straight away that is not the old Maria, is it, by any stretch of the imagination?
Well, it's a very different part. I mean, it was written for a non-singer, and so for a singer to be doing it is quite nice. It's got a musical element. And Wonderful Town is a very happy show. It's bright. It's a Broadway show, so it's really kind of Broadway, And I play a writer, Ruth Sherwood, and she's from Ohio, so she's from the, she's quite southern. So it lends that kind of that American twang to the sound, and it's a very jazzy show. So if you like West Side Story, which was also written by Bernstein, you will definitely like Wonderful Town.
Well, why isn't Wonderful Town as well known then?
Well, there isn't a musical film, and it was last done in the 80s with Maureen Lipman in the role of Ruth Sherwood. So I'm following in amazing footsteps. And as I mentioned, it wasn't written for a singer, really. So that's the reason I took the part, thinking I wouldn't have to sing much. But how wrong was I?
Yes.
I mean, I have to sing why, oh, why, oh, why, oh, Ohio, one of the leading numbers in the show. And when you come and see it, you think, I've heard that song before. It's a really melodic show. You'll come not knowing any of the songs, but you'll leave whistling all of them.
And there's a big band as well, isn't there? I mean, this is a big event show, this.
It certainly is. At the moment, in Manchester at the Lowry, we have the Halle Orchestra, conducted by Sir Mark Eldon. That's a 55-piece orchestra.
How fantastic is that?
Amazing to
Yeah.
sing with the Halle. Part of the reason I took it. And also the fact that as an actress, I knew I was making a transition between a juvenile lead like Maria and not getting off with the same stereotypical parts of Julie Andrews and moving on to a character actress role. And this is working with the Royal Exchange. So Brian Murray's our director. And it's a brilliant collaboration between the Lowry, the Royal Exchange and the Halle. Now next week we scale down to 17-piece orchestra, which I say scale down, that's almost twice the size of the Sound of Music Orchestra.
Yeah.
So it's still huge. And then we embark on the 3-month tour across the UK on weekly. So we're going to Milton Keynes, Nottingham, Glasgow. I'm particularly excited to kind of go to areas that I've not been before, like Glasgow, because I've got family there.
Right. Well, I mean, how's your American drawl coming on? I mean, we've heard New York and a bit of Ohio from you, but you have to sing in these accents as well.
Well, yes, I do. Yes, sir. But I think the accent lends itself to comedy quite well.
I sense in you that you've been liberated, really, haven't you? But in a way, you wouldn't have wanted this necessarily for all those problems with your voice. But you can leave Maria behind now.
I'm really, really excited. It's a new chapter. Of course, I love to play Maria, and I couldn't play her forever. I did go back after my operations and play Maria for 18 months, but I always felt that it was a struggle and that I was almost fooling myself, and I needed to accept my new voice and my new identity. And I still sing, but in a more jazzy way, and Bernstein allows me to do that in this role. And I do feel like it's a new beginning, and I really hope that it will lead to straight roles in comedy. I'd love it to transfer into the West End. I think it's that kind of musical. It's a feel-good Broadway musical, which I think the West End is in need of.
Now, you've been in Casualty. Now, the problem with appearing in Casualty is that there's very rarely a happy ending. When you're in Casualty, are you the person who's sort of just starting a bog standard day, sitting in the kitchen drinking a mug of coffee? But we all know, those of us stuck at home, that you're going to end up in a lot of trouble, probably in about 17 minutes time.
Well, don't take your dog for a walk near a cave. That's all I'm saying.
Is that what happens to you?
Well, if you're on Casualty, you're likely to fall down the cave.
You are, yes.
And be resuscitated. Yeah, that was last Saturday. I haven't actually seen it yet. I'm kind of saving it. But my mum said it was all right, so it was good.
Yeah, I mean, why don't the people who appear on Casualty watch Casualty? Then they'd know what's likely to happen to them.
Yeah, they should. Yeah, absolutely. You should see the signs. It was a brilliant experience filming Casualty, and they've asked me to come back. So I didn't die.
Oh, that's good.
And Amanda will be returning after Wonderful Town. We're on tour for 3 months till July, and then I'm going back to film with Casualty, which is great because we finish in Cardiff on tour, and I start filming in Cardiff.
Well, it's like it was meant, the whole thing.
I'm a great believer in fate, and I do think that even with all this voice palaver, I think that it's a new chapter and things are meant to be.
Well, great to talk to you, Connie. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Now, that's the Wonderful Town musical. It's on at the Lowry in Manchester until the 21st of April.